What's going on, guys? It's Adonis and you're watching Absolutely Tech. So today was Apple's fall announcement event and I'm going to be talking about my top 5 features of the iPad Pro. So let's get into it. Number 1, screen resolution. I'm going to read this off because I don't know it off the top of my head. It is a 2732 by 2048 screen resolution. Now the reason why they decided to go with this resolution was if you turn the iPad Air sideways, it's actually the width of the iPad Pro, which will allow a full-size iPad Air app if you have it in landscape paired with a obviously secondary application if you're multitasking. This is fantastic. When they were showing demos of this, the real estate is great, the resolution looks awesome. Obviously we need to see it in person, but so far this size display, when they're talking about resolution, actually has more resolution than my MacBook Pro 15-inch with Retina display. So I am super excited to see what this display looks like in real life. Now the next thing was the smart keyboard. Now the reason why it was, my number 4 instead of my number, 2 or 1 was because I personally don't want to use a keyboard with my iPad. However, so far with how they integrated it with a smart cover, I think it's probably a more elegant solution than some of the iPad cases or keyboard cases I've seen in the past. It definitely seems more well thought out. Obviously it's a integrated system as far as its connectivity that transfers data and power, so I like that as well. Very reminiscent of the Surface Pro's keyboard latch system, very similar. So I can see people are like, oh, they stole it from Microsoft. I don't care. I definitely like that it's a cool implementation of that. I could care less who does it first, but if it's good, people are gonna use it, and they used it, and I like it. The keyboard itself, from what I've been watching as far as reviewers go so far, they've been saying that it feels really nice, that the build quality is actually really nice. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. So next on my list is the A9X chip. Now before I get into it, I know people have asked me in the past, what is the X version of the processors? Well, there's a couple of things. It does not have the RAM on the same, inside the actual chip itself. It's like separate off the board. So the RAM is a separate module, it's not integrated. And then also, the processor has a heat shield to dissipate heat better than the one that's in the phone. So it should perform better, have a higher clock speed, and has better RAM management. So the iPads, most of them always have an X version of the iPhone processor. So pretty awesome. But from what they're saying, I'm gonna read this off of this actually, is 1.8 times faster than the A9X chip at computing, and then 2 times the graphic performance. Now I know that doesn't really sound like much, but when you look at one like the Geekbench scores, or you look at the graphic performance of the iPad Air 2, that is a beast of a tablet. That is not like a computer in a screen. Like it's an actual tablet, like, not computer. It's pretty beastie. So for this to have double the performance in graphic and in CPU performance, it's gonna be pretty monstrous. And to see what, Adobe and Microsoft have already done in a short amount of time with this device, I am very impressed, and I cannot wait to see what these scores look like and real use cases look like as well. Now my number 2 has to be the audio system. Has to be. We've been asking for, surround or true stereo speakers on a tablet from Apple since they made the first one. I remember when it first came out, I was like, oh, they should have a speaker on the other side. Always wanted it. It just made sense to me, especially when you're holding a tablet. They finally done it, but they did it in a better fashion. So this is really clever. So they have 2 speakers, 4 speakers total, but 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom of the device. Also integrated with that is it's an inner chamber for the speaker with carbon fiber covers to make the sound more of like an amplifier for the sound. They're talking about 3 times the volume of the iPad Air 2's speakers. And the speakers on the iPad Air 2's are actually fairly loud. So you're talking about 3 times that volume. Not to mention, the iPad is smart enough to know how you're holding it, and it will adjust the sound accordingly depending on how you're holding it from left to right or from top to bottom. So it's pretty cool depending on how you're holding your device. If you're having, sharing with certain people, it'll balance the sound so you can kind of get more, of an immersive sound while you're watching it. So I can't wait to test this out because it sounds crazy, but pretty awesome on the sound, guys. So my number one feature of the iPad Pro announcement has to be the Apple Pencil. I don't care what you say about the name, this is actually pretty awesome. Now some of you will say, oh, well, Adonis, stylus have already existed. Well, Microsoft has a pen. Oh, the S Pen does this. You're right. Apple hasn't done one though. So now they have one. So now the cool thing about this though, first of all, it looks beautiful. Obviously, that's what Apple does. They make beautiful stuff. But it really comes down to how it works. Now, this isn't a stylus that you use the device with. It is very, focused on creation, on artistry. It's not meant to be a stylus for your device and create notes and stuff like that. It's meant to be a tool for creation. And they displayed this and demoed this perfectly. When Adobe came on and they did tests with the Apple Pencil on their programs, fantastic. Microsoft came on, showed their little demo, fantastic. When you started seeing what artists would do with it, sketching and stuff like that, the pressure sensitivity, the difference between from top down and a tilt, what the difference in painting looks like when they're doing that. It's incredible for it to know. And it scans 248 times a second. That's double what it scans your finger when you're moving it across the display. So it's super accurate. And they say it's around 60 frames a second, which is incredible. So I am super excited about testing this pen out. I personally don't know if I need an iPad Pro. I do most of my stuff on a MacBook Pro 15-inch. I do a lot of video editing. But who knows, it may do video editing fairly well. But all I know is I really want to test this pencil out so bad because it looks awesome and it seems like it works really well for artists. So if you guys are interested in drawing or you already draw on your iPad, this looks like a fantastic addition for someone like you. My brother does photography. He's always in Photoshop. He has it into his tablet. He's super excited about this. So if you guys are in that space, maybe you want to check it out. So those are my top 5 features, but what are your top 5 features? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any suggestions for new videos or content, let me know in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Till next time guys, see you later.